Vanakkam. I had to renew my passport recently. So I was just going through that to find out when was my last international trip. I couldn't even remember the date. Finally, I figured out that the last I travelled out of the country was during February 2020. I was travelling to Colombo to participate in a literary event sponsored by the Kolumbu Kamban Kazhagam. I am not able to recall much about the trip or the speech that I gave there, but I am able to clearly recall my trip back to India. I was in the Bandaranaike International Airport and I was taking a flight to Mumbai to attend an official conference. In the airport, there is a three-tiered security. I crossed the security and entered into the gate, and I was taken aback a little bit because there was a group of about 40 to 50 women, all in the age group of about 50 to 60, who were all taking the same flight to go to Mumbai. So I started checking with them because they looked like it was probably their first trip outside their country, clenching their passports tightly, afraid to go to the washroom, afraid to leave their seats. They were sitting there a bit dazzled looking. I sat next to a lady. I introduced myself. She looked at me and then she was able to recall that she has probably seen me in some TV shows. I introduced myself and then with reluctance she introduced herself. She was Tavamani Amma. Tavamani Amma held my hand. It was as though she was trying to tell me something. Then slowly she came out with a story. Yes, it was her first trip outside her country. It was her first trip to India. It was her first trip in a flight. She has never travelled in a plane before that. So she had to pledge the last set of her jewels to take this travel. They were going to Mumbai and from there going to Shirdi to pray to Shirdi Sai Baba. I asked all of you and she said yes, all of us. And what is the prayer, if I may ask? And she said all of us have the same prayer. That was a little surprising. All women having the same prayer, and what was that? That was only one prayer. They wanted to get some news about their missing sons. Tavamani Amma's son, Anbu, also known as Anbu Chelvan, was part of the Tigers movement, and after the last battle was lost, the Podians, as they call, or part of the people who still survived, the boys wanted to kill themselves. Their mothers forced them to go and surrender to the army because one day they will come out of the prison. So the boys listened to their mothers and they went and surrendered to the army. It's what, about 12 years now? None of the mothers have received any news about their sons. They don't know whether they are alive or they are gone. So they are pressing the demand with the government to give them some news about their sons, and they haven't heard anything for 12 years. So it was one of their last attempts to go to Shirdi and place their prayers in the lotus feet of Sai Baba there, so that the God will give them some news which is good about their sons. When Tavamani Amma finished her story, I took her hand and she had bulging nerves in her hand as though it was an old tree where the roots were trying to come out. I wanted to say something, give her a word of encouragement, an assurance that she will hear something about her son. I didn't say anything. We boarded the flight. When I got down in Mumbai, I just looked back. I was not able to see her and I have not seen her since then. It's now what, 3 years? I don't know if she has received some news yet. But every time I think about Tavamani Amma, I see myself narrating a Thirukkural. It's one of my most favorite, and it's a very rare Thirukkural because in this couplet, I see that the saint is actually placing a curse, which she seldom does. Allarpattu, Aatraadhu, Kanneerandre, Selvaththai, Theykkum, Padai. It is the tear of agony shed by the innocent subjects that is going to wear out the wealth of the kings. The news that we are hearing from Sri Lanka in the recent few months are all about how their past presidents and prime ministers had to step down and the angry mobs ransacking their houses. They were on the ivory tower of being wealthy. And how did this fall happen? Maybe because of the economic conditions. because the economy has its back to the wall now, having to pay large amount of foreign debts. The economists have multiple reasons, but to my mind, there is only one reason. The tears of people like Thavamani Amma have a bearing on the wealth of the dictators. Allarpattu, Aatraadhu Azhudha Kanneerandre, Selvaththai, Theykkum Padai. For more such thoughts on Thirukkural, follow Thirukkural with the Times with me, Bharathi Baskar, every Saturday in the Times of India.